And welcome back to CMBG News. I'm Emanuel. Last Friday, European leaders, with the exception of Britain's David Cameron, pledged to form a tighter, more deeply integrated fiscal bond among member states. One of the most crucial aspects of the fiscal pact, which was masterminded by Germany's Angela Merkel and France's Nicolas Sarkozy, was to force Eurozone members to maintain responsible budgets. Countries would face sanctions if they allowed their deficits to stray above 3% of their gross domestic product. The summit is clearly a stepping stone to fiscal union, but there are still a lot of hoops to jump through, said Nick Staminovic, fixed income strategist at RIA Capital Markets in Edinburgh, Scotland. People are getting more and more nervous for the outlook of Europe and the lack of political agreement. Bond buyers show little indication that they have any better, or that they felt any better, rather, about European debt in Italy on Wednesday. Italy's $3 billion auction of 5-year notes met with relatively strong demand, but resulted in a high yield of 6.47%. Dr. Donald M. Berwick, the official in charge of Medicare and Medicaid, who became a symbol of all that Republicans dislike in President Obama's health care policy, said on Wednesday that he was resigning. His temporary recess appointment was due to expire at the end of the year. He will step down at the end of next week. Mr. Obama first nominated Dr. Berwick in April 2010, but he never received a Senate confirmation hearing. More than 40 Senate Republicans urged the White House to withdraw the nomination last spring, and many vowed to block confirmation. White House officials and Democrats in Congress often praised Dr. Berwick, but did not make aggressive efforts to help him win confirmation. Mr. Obama said he would nominate Dr. Berwick's principal deputy, Marilyn B. Tavenner, to succeed him as administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Chilean doctors successfully separated conjoined twin girls in a marathon 20-hour surgery, saying yesterday that the operation went extremely well despite challenges. The 10-month-old twins, Maria Paz and Maria Jose, were recovering in an extensive care unit, and doctors said that the next 2 days will be crucial as they watch for infections or other possible complications. Surgery on one of the twins was completed early yesterday after a total of 19 hours, while the other it took more than 20 hours. We had a number of difficulties during the surgery. There were some surprises, but we were able to solve the problems, Chief Surgeon Francisco Osandin said at a news conference. The Chilean twins presented a particularly difficult challenge because they were born sharing many of the same internal organs and a urinary system. About 100 people participated in the procedure, including 25 surgeons and anesthesiologists. The University of Maryland Medical Center said that roughly 1 out of every 200,000 live births worldwide results in conjoined twins. The overall survival rate is 5 to 25%, depending on various factors, including where they are joined. In entertainment news today, Golden Globe nominees are in. It's Martin Scorsese versus Steve Spielberg, and George Clooney going against himself. That's one way to look at the nominations for Best Dramatic Film at the 69th Annual Golden Globes, where the rich visual epics Hugo and War Horse will vie for the prestigious trophy, along with 2 films starring Clooney, The Ides of March and The Descendants. The Help, an emotional tale set against the race and class backdrop of 1960s Mississippi, was also nominated in the category, along with Moneyball, which stars Clooney's pal Brad Pitt as a maverick major league manager, but also serve as commentary on people finding their place in a culture where their value is unappreciated. The Globe split their Best Picture candidates into 2 fields, drama and comedy or musical, and in the latter the nominations went to The Artist, the spirited black and white, mostly silent film about old Hollywood. Midnight in Paris, Woody Allen's dreamy visit to the Grand City during the Jazz Age. Bridesmaids, a crowd-pleasing comedy that earned every bit of its R rating. My Week with Marilyn, which saw Michelle Williams take on audacious platinum challenge of portraying Marilyn Monroe. And 50-50, the rare heartfelt film to find comedy in the travails of a cancer patient. The Golden Globe Awards will be handed out January 15th at the Beverly Hilton, and the gala will be broadcast on NBC. Ricky Gervais, who as host last January shook up Hollywood with some scorching insults, will again MC the broadcast. Moving now to sports news, the NFL has renewed its television deals with CBS, Fox, and NBC for 9 years through the 2022 season, the league announced Wednesday. The current contracts expire after the 2013 season. The deals will also expand the number of Thursday night games on NFL Network. Earlier this season, the NFL and ESPN reached an 8-year extension to keep Monday Night Football on the cable channel through the 2021 season. CBS, Fox, and NBC will each televise 3 Super Bowls during the term of their contracts, continuing the current rotation. The 9-year terms are the longest for NFL television agreements with over-the-air broadcast networks. The previous longest were the 8-year deals with CBS, Fox, and ABC from 1998 to 2005. Well, you're now up to date here on CMBG News. We'll be right back after this short break. And welcome back to CMBG News. Police have sealed off a southern Chinese village and cut food supplies in an attempt to crush an uprising by villagers angered by government land seizures and the death of a man in police custody, residents said Wednesday. The protests in Guangdong province are part of a growing trend of confrontation between Chinese and their government over the seizure of land for business development projects. Police started blocking roads leading to Wukan, a fishing village of 20,000 people, late last week and prevented food from being transported in, said Ku Yakun, a man who owns a shop selling farming tools. Some food was allowed into the village, located in Shanwei City, starting Monday, but police continue to prevent villagers from fishing and suppliers are running low, said Ku, who was reached by phone. Nobody dares to leave the village now. If you want to leave, you have to sign your name. We don't know what that means. Most of us are just too scared to go out, Q said. With a booming economy, demand for land to build factories and housing complexes has soared. Land disputes have grown apace, becoming one of the leading causes of the tens of thousands of large-scale protests that hit China every year. Around Wukan village and in much of the rest of Guangdong province, conflicts have been intense because the area is among China's most economically developed, pushing up land prices. The University of Vermont Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity is under investigation after a survey surfaced online asking fraternity brothers who they would rape. The National Sigma Phi Epsilon organization said in a statement that the fraternity has instructed the chapter to cease all operations pending further investigation, adding that any behavior that demeans women is not tolerated by the fraternity. Leadership from the fraternity's national office was in Burlington Wednesday working with UVM administrators to look into the survey, which was discovered earlier this week, CNN affiliate WCAX reported. We want to make sure that any individuals that were responsible for that document or any other faults are held accountable, Tyler Bogus of Sigma Phi Epsilon told the affiliate. It is technically free speech rather, and yet it is deplorable and just absolutely inappropriate and offensive. Annie Stevens, Associate Vice President for Student and Campus Life, told the affiliate, it may be this instance where there's a dynamic of only a few who knew about this. We don't know that yet, or did the whole chapter know. Those are the kinds of questions that we have. San Francisco will soon make history by becoming the first city in the nation to scale a $10 minimum wage. The city's hourly wage for its lowest paid workers will hit $10.24, more than $2 above the California minimum wage and nearly $3 more than the working wage set by the federal government. San Franciscans passed a proposition in 2003 that requires the city to increase the minimum wage each year using a formula tied to inflation and the cost of living. It's just another way to progressive people of the city by the Bay have shown their support for the working class in a locale where labor unions remain strong and housing costs are sky high. Carl Kramer of the San Francisco Living Wage Coalition said a decent wage for a single adult without children in the city would be $15, and that doubles when you have at least one child or more. But like other advocates of better wages, he's still pleased that San Francisco will be the first in the nation to top $10. It helps workers' morale in a time of economic crisis. They feel that they're able to tread water and get some relief from the recession, said Kramer. While the city is at the forefront of attempting to provide a decent living wage, most employees say it's still not a wage to live on. That's the 32-cent seems like peanuts. And some employers say it could lead to layoffs by small businesses already forced to pay federal, state, and city payroll taxes, as well as a slew of other city-mandated taxes. Well, you're now up to date. We'll be right back after these brief messages.